The most frightening part of the ancient map is not the city under the ocean floor. It is the door beside it. A door should not be there, not under water, not under stone, not beside a city buried below the seabed. But the map marks it clearly, a threshold symbol, placed near the edge of the hidden city, connected by a route that bends away from the surface and disappears into the deep. That means the ancient cartographer was not only remembering a drowned place, he was remembering how someone got in. And that is why this map matters. Lost cities can become legends. Flooded lands can become myths. But entrances are practical. They are made for passage. They are made because someone expected movement between one side and the other. If the city was sealed, then the entrance was the key. If the city was forbidden, then the entrance was the danger. Stay until the end, because the final symbol beside the door may reveal who used the entrance and why the mapmaker warned it should never be opened again. To understand why this ancient map is so disturbing, we have to begin with the door, not the city, the door. Because a city beneath the ocean floor can be dismissed as legend. Ancient cultures told stories of drowned kingdoms, sunken temples, islands swallowed by angry gods, and cities lost beneath the waves. But a door is different. A door means access. A door means someone believed the city could be entered. And if the map marks the entrance, then the city was not only remembered from a distance, someone knew how to reach it. That is what turns this map from a strange artifact into a warning. The city is not shown floating underwater like a dream. It is not drawn as a vague island lost in myth. It appears beneath the ocean floor itself, below the sea, below the sediment, below the world that ships and storms can touch. That means the place was not merely drowned. It was buried, covered first by water, then by mud, then by stone, then by time. And yet beside it the map marks a threshold, a door, a point of entry that creates the first open loop. Who used the entrance? Not ordinary sailors. A sailor can cross water, but he cannot walk beneath the ocean floor. A fisherman can know reefs, currents, and islands, but not a buried city sealed under the seabed. A king can send ships, but ships cannot pass through stone. So if the map preserves even a distorted memory, then the entrance must have been something unusual. A coastal cavern before the sea rose, a volcanic passage, a tunnel through an old ridge, a sacred gate beneath a temple that once stood on dry land, or a route that existed before the city was swallowed and sealed below the ocean. That is why the map matters. It does not simply say, there was a city. It says, there was a way in. Ancient maps were not always made for navigation in the modern sense. Some showed trade roads, some marked rivers and mountains, some preserved sacred geography, and some were warnings. Maps of places that existed but should not be approached. This map feels like the last kind, because the route leading toward the entrance is not drawn proudly. It does not show harbors, markets, or signs of welcome. It bends away from the surface and descends into symbols of depth, silence, and danger, as if the mapmaker wanted future readers to know the entrance existed, but also know that finding it was the beginning of the danger. Imagine the map being opened in a chamber lit by flame. The surface is worn, the edges are damaged, some of the markings are incomplete. At first, the strange shapes look like waves, islands, or mythic decoration near the edge of the known world. Then someone follows the line. It crosses the sea. It passes the last surface marker. It bends downward, and there beside the outline of the buried city is the symbol for a threshold, a door placed where no door should be. That is the moment the room changes, because a sunken city is a mystery, but a marked entrance is instruction, and instruction can survive long after the people who understood it are gone. This is where the ocean becomes more than water. In ancient thought, the sea was not just a physical place. It was a boundary, a living edge, a force that could swallow land, hide memory, and separate the human world from whatever came before it. When a city sinks, it becomes unreachable. But when a city sinks and the entrance remains marked, the story becomes darker. It suggests the city was not meant to be forgotten completely, only sealed. That is the second open loop. Why preserve the entrance if no one should use it? The answer may be that the map was not made for explorers. It may have been made for guardians, people who needed to remember where the door was so they could keep others away from it. That idea appears again and again in ancient mystery. Some roads are not recorded so travelers can follow them. They are recorded so priests can block them. Some names are not preserved so they can be spoken. They are preserved so they can be feared. Some doors are not marked because they are open. They are marked because one day someone might try to open them again. The map seems to understand human weakness. Because humans are drawn to entrances, a wall can be ignored. A ruin can be studied from a distance. A warning can be debated, but a door changes the mind. The moment we know there is a door, we imagine what is behind it. And once that image enters the mind, the seal has already begun to weaken. Now picture the buried city itself, not Atlantis in gold and sunlight, not towers shining beneath clear blue water, something older, a city pressed below the ocean floor, its upper structures crushed by sediment, its avenues filled with mineral darkness, its walls sealed away from the movement of waves. No fish swim through its streets, because the sea itself may no longer reach it. It is beneath the sea, beneath the floor of the sea. A city inside the earth, hidden under water. That image is almost impossible, and yet the map gives it shape. There are boundary lines around the city, a central mark that may represent a chamber, temple, or sealed court, and beside it the entrance symbol, separate from the city, connected by a narrow route. That separation matters. If the entrance were directly above the city, the meaning would be simple: descend here. But the map shows the entrance beside it, away from the central structure. That implies a hidden approach, a passage leading sideways, a route beneath the seabed, a way to enter without breaking through from above. That is far more sophisticated than a mythic drawing. It suggests sequence. First, find the entrance, then follow the passage, then reach the city. And at the end of that sequence, the map places a warning mark. Not treasure, not victory, warning. That tells us the map maker did not think the entrance was safe. Maybe the city was abandoned after a catastrophe. Maybe it was sealed during a flood. Maybe something inside was meant to remain below. Or maybe, in the ancient imagination, the entrance was not built by the people who drew the map at all. Maybe they inherited the knowledge from those who had used it before the sea covered the world above it. That is the third open loop. Was the entrance built before the city sank, or was it built after? If it was built before, then it may have been a normal road, tunnel, or sacred passage that became hidden when the ocean rose. But if it was built after, then the story becomes much stranger, because that would mean someone found a way to access a city already buried beneath the ocean floor. Someone with knowledge of stone, depth, pressure, and hidden roots. Someone who did not need the surface. Someone for whom the ocean was not a barrier. That possibility is why the final marking is so disturbing. The map does not simply show where the entrance is. It warns that the entrance was used. And if it was used once, it may be usable again. Now we have to follow the route on the map, because the route does not behave like an ordinary road. It begins near what may have once been a coastline, or a sacred marker placed at the edge of land and sea. The first part of the route is clear. Then it bends, narrows, and passes through repeated symbols of depth. That suggests descent, not travel across the surface. Descent, a movement from the world of air into the world beneath water, then beneath stone. Ancient people often imagined entrances to hidden realms at boundaries. Caves, wells, mountains, river mouths, coastal cliffs, temple foundations. These places were neither fully one thing nor another. A cave is earth, but it opens like a mouth. A well is water, but it descends into darkness. A coast is land, but it is always being touched and erased by the sea. So if the map places the entrance near a boundary zone, that is not random. It fits the ancient logic of thresholds. The entrance begins where the world changes form, Land becomes sea, sea becomes depth, depth becomes silence, silence becomes the city. That is how the map tells the story without words. And the closer the route gets to the city, the fewer ordinary marks remain. No villages, no surface islands, no signs of trade, only the line, the entrance, the buried walls, and warning symbols. This is where the map becomes less like geography and more like a descent ritual. Each stage removes the traveler farther from the human world. First the shore disappears, then the light disappears, then the sea itself disappears, replaced by the deeper darkness below the ocean floor. By the time the route reaches the entrance, the traveler is no longer in the world that ordinary men understand. He is under the sea, but not in the sea. Inside the earth, but below the ocean. At a threshold, no human should have known how to mark. Imagine the original entrance before it was covered. A black opening in a coastal cliff. Waves strike the rocks below. Wind moves through the passage with a low sound, almost like breathing. The people who live nearby do not fish there. They do not build there. They do not let children wander near the stones. At night, they say lights sometimes appear inside the cave. Not fire, not lightning. A cold light far below, moving where no person should be walking. The elders know the old warning. The entrance leads to the lower city, not the drowned city, the lower city. That distinction matters. A drowned city is a victim of disaster. A lower city sounds like it belonged below. Maybe that is why the map does not call it lost. It marks it as hidden. A place beneath the ocean floor may not have been imagined as destroyed. It may have been imagined as withdrawn from the surface world, sealed away, protected by water and stone, accessible only through the one entrance that the map maker dared to mark. But why would anyone go there? The map gives hints. Near the route are signs that could be read as offerings, warnings, or stopping points. This suggests the entrance was not used casually. It may have been approached through ritual. Perhaps only certain people were allowed to descend. Perhaps they carried objects, names, or instructions. That would make the entrance less like a tunnel and more like a gate. A gate does not simply connect places. It controls passage between them, and controlled passage means someone was responsible for deciding who crossed. That raises the most unsettling question of all. Were people going down into the city, or was something coming up from it? The map never answers directly. But the warning marks are placed near the entrance, not deep inside the city. That means the danger was associated with the threshold itself, the crossing point. Ancient cultures feared thresholds because thresholds allowed mixing. The living and the dead, the human and the divine, the known and the unknown, the surface and the deep. If the entrance beneath the sea was a threshold, then the danger was not simply what lay below. The danger was that the boundary could be crossed in both directions. Now imagine a storm night in the old world. The sea is high. Waves slam against the cliffs. The sky is black. In a settlement above the coast, people wake to a sound beneath the storm. Stone moving. Not thunder, not surf, stone. The elders go to the cliff path carrying lamps covered with cloth. Rain cuts their faces. The cave entrance is half covered by water now, but a light glows inside it. Then the water pulls back from the cave mouth. Not naturally. Too fast, too cleanly. As if the sea itself has stepped aside. For a moment the passage is open, and from far below, somewhere beneath the ocean floor, something answers. That is the kind of memory a map might preserve as warning. Not with a full story, with a symbol, a door, a route, a mark that says, this entrance was used and it must not be opened again. The modern mind wants coordinates. Where is it? How deep? What city? What civilization? But ancient warning maps often cared less about satisfying curiosity and more about controlling it. They might not give exact directions to the untrained eye. They might encode the route in symbolic geography, the place where three waters meet, the cliff that faces the moon, the stone that sings in storm season, the cave that breathes at low tide. To the wrong reader, it looks like myth. To the right reader, it is enough. This is why the final symbol beside the entrance matters so much. It is not placed over the city itself. It is placed beside the door. That suggests the city may be dangerous, but the entrance is the immediate threat. Because the moment an entrance is opened, separation fails. The ocean floor may have sealed the city for thousands of years. Sediment may have buried its streets. Pressure may have crushed its towers. Time may have erased its name. But if the entrance still exists, then the city is not truly unreachable. It is waiting behind a route no one remembers how to follow, or worse, a route someone may one day remember. By this point, the ancient map has revealed three impossible details: a city beneath the ocean floor, a route leading toward it, and a door beside it marked with a warning. Now the question becomes unavoidable. If the entrance was used once, who used it? And what did they bring back from the city below the sea? And now we reach the final symbol beside the door, the mark the mapmaker placed not over the city, not over the route, but directly beside the entrance. That placement matters, because the city beneath the ocean floor is impossible enough. The road leading to it is stranger. But the warning is not centered on the buried walls, it is centered on the threshold. The entrance was the danger, and that means the ancient map was not warning people about a dead city. It was warning them about passage. The door had been used before. Someone had crossed from the surface world into the city below the sea. Someone had followed the route through depth, stone, silence, and pressure. Someone had reached the place beneath the ocean floor, and then returned long enough for the entrance to be marked. That is the revelation. The map does not exist because someone imagined a city under the sea. It exists because someone believed the route had been traveled. Imagine that first return. A figure emerges from the coastal entrance before dawn. His clothes are wet, but not with seawater. His face is pale. His eyes refuse the sunrise. Behind him, far below the cliffs, something moves inside the passage that should have been empty. The elders ask what he saw. He does not answer at first. Then he says only one thing: the city is not abandoned. That is why the door was marked. Not because the city was unreachable, because it could still be reached, and perhaps because reaching it meant the boundary had failed. The final warning beside the entrance can be read like a command: do not open again. Not because nothing is there, because something is. Something below the ocean floor. Something beyond the buried city walls. Something that once used the same entrance from the other side. And that changes the entire map. The route was not drawn to guide explorers. It was drawn to warn guardians. The city was not lost. It was sealed. And the entrance the ocean covered was not the beginning of a discovery. It was the last door mankind was supposed to leave closed. So what does this ancient map really leave us with? A city beneath the ocean floor, a route descending toward it, a threshold marked beside the buried walls, and a warning placed not on the city itself, but on the entrance. Maybe the map is symbolic. Maybe the city represents a drowned memory, a mythic underworld, or an ancient fear of the sea swallowing human civilization. Maybe the entrance is not literal, but ritual, a way of showing the boundary between the living world and the hidden world beneath water and stone. But even as myth, the message is powerful. Ancient people understood that a lost place is not always harmless. Some places are lost because time erases them. Some places are lost because water covers them. Some places are lost because no road survives. But some places are lost because someone made sure the entrance was forgotten. That is the deeper fear inside the map. Not that a city once existed beneath the sea, but that someone knew how to enter it. Someone came back. Someone marked the door. And someone warned that it should never be opened again. The ocean may cover the city. The seabed may bury the walls. The route may be broken. The name may be gone. But the map still preserves the one thing more dangerous than the city itself: the memory of the entrance. And if that entrance still exists somewhere beneath water, stone, and silence, then the real question is not whether the city is lost. It is whether the door is still closed. And if this ancient map shows a city beneath the ocean floor, there is another 5,000-year-old map that points to a forbidden land beneath the Pacific. Watch that video next, because once you understand how ancient maps hide entrances, the land under the ocean stops looking like a myth and starts looking like a warning someone tried to drown.